Regional CEOs are working to overcome the effect of the pandemic and are now focusing on business growth for 2022 and 2023. That's according to the inaugural Cooper Fitch GCC CEO report, which reveals that talent, company culture, and employee engagement are key challenges organizations are facing because of the pandemic. And we're joined by the founder and CEO of Cooper Fitch, Trevor Murphy. Thanks so much for joining us today, Trevor. Now, 40% of firms surveyed in your report say their biggest challenge for growth this year is really retaining and attracting new talent. Why is this an issue when there are so many job seekers post-pandemic?
Sure. Thank you, Ramya. So, I guess in principle, it is a very dynamic employment market across the Gulf. It's an ever-evolving door of new skill requirements based on changes in market, changing in direction of business, and new sectors being developed across the region. So we see all of those things playing into that, and attracting that top tier talent from global markets has become the most urgent matter for CEOs to deal with, to allow them to have that growth for the year ahead.
So your survey also shows that 33% of CEOs are really focusing on new market penetration. Where exactly are they looking?
So it really depends on the organization and the sector they're involved with and the strategy that they need to develop based on where they are. We see a lot of organizations with headquarters in the Gulf, looking at markets across Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, across the continent, but also Asia, very particularly India and Pakistan in the most recent couple of quarters, and also Europe, I guess, to a slightly lesser extent. But we all see them focus very much on developing their full capacity within the Gulf. So if you're based in the UAE, they're really looking at developing the Saudi or the Northern Gulf markets to the highest extent.
Your survey also shows that 57% of leaders are forecasting revenue growth of between 5 and 10% for 2022-2023. These seem like ambitious figures, don't they?
Yeah, I think we are, as organizations in the Gulf, we have ceaseless ambitions for growth and to further develop business activities. And I think that's a general consensus for this year, with less restrictions around COVID and a more normalized business environment, that we see a real drive for growth. But I would put down a lot of this ambition based on the lack of growth in 2020 and maybe the first half of 2021. There's a real drive to eke out that growth for this year coming. We also see that 23% of the CEOs that we surveyed were looking for more than 20% growth this year, which is very aggressive growth plans.
That's incredible. We would love to see if those ambitions are realized in next year's survey. Tell us about how digital transformation is really becoming increasingly important for CEOs as well.
Yeah, we were quite surprised that this was such an important factor, with so much investment gone into digital transformation projects over the first and second year of COVID. And then in a more post-COVID environment, we still see it as a very, very high priority. It's the number one goal, non-financial goal for CEOs to further develop their digitization, and very much on the radar for the top two goals for growth strategy, and equally coming out of the pandemic, it's still very much a top priority for CEOs in the Gulf.
Your survey also found that 78% of respondents have a clear diversity and inclusion strategy in place, Trevor.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is very positive news, and even with a further 17% of those surveyed who have diversity and inclusion programs in draft copy at the moment. So I think there's a real drive to improve the nationality mix, improve the gender mix across the Gulf, and CEOs see this as very, very important for them. I do feel we've got quite a way to go if you look at the C-suite and board composition, particularly around gender at the moment. We've got a good road ahead, but it's very good news that we're starting from this platform and really trying to drive this very important issue ahead.
Positive outcomes of that survey. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ramya.